started a book, I actually finished the book, and I actually got it published. Wow. And many of you know me, you know, like, you know what? I'm going to take that back. You think you know me. You think you know me, but once you read Reckless Beginnings, then you can say you know me. Okay? The book is based on my life. It's based on experiences that I've gone through. The beginning of the book is basically you meet Tammy Mellors is the main character, and you meet her when she's 14 years old. And at that time, her sister disappears. So she's dealing with that. She can't look for her sister. But then it's later in life is where turmoil begins in her life. And the main focus of the book is that turmoil. And one of the reasons why I wrote this book is because when I was looking for a book that I was dealing with, I couldn't find anything. And what Tammy does, she meets Stephen, has his child, and discovers that he's a heroin addict. But she was looking for the white picket fence. She was looking for the suburban lifestyle. So she was only seeing things that she wanted to see. And she avoided anything that was going to disrupt that. And there's going to be a point in the book where you're just going to go, Tammy, wake up, look around you, look what's going on. But a lot of women only see, you know, what they want to see. And for Tammy, by the time she realized the truth, it was too late for her. She had already lost her sense of direction. She had already lost her willpower, her self-esteem, her friends had disappeared. And that was the time when I started looking for books. I wanted to relate to women, I wanted to have a connection with someone that was going through the same ordeals. But I couldn't find any of these books. I found books on how to, you know, don't do this, don't do that, but there was no actual voices from an actual person that was experiencing this, and I wanted to know how did they manage, what did they do? And that's when I had the idea that maybe I should write my experiences, because when I was writing the book, I gave myself the title, The Silent and Forgotten One. Sure. And pretty much when you're in a relationship where your life is dictated by an addict, the focus is on the addict. And it's the same in the media. You hear about the addiction, you hear about it spiraling out of control. You hear about the increase for rehab centers. But what you don't hear about is the families that are connected with that addiction. You don't hear how they have to cope or what they have to do. And this book gives that person a voice. And it's not necessarily, it has to be a woman. It could be the woman is the addict and it's the father that's raising the children. So it's not just focusing on women, it's just families of addicts. And when Tammy finally faced the truth that this person was an addict and she realized that she didn't cause this problem, she definitely can't control it, and she sure as hell can't cure it. That's when you see Tammy do about face. And it's not about the addict anymore, it's about Tammy gaining her life back. And women need to know that you don't have to settle, or anyone that's in that relationship. You don't have to settle and become a shadow. You do have choices, you do have a right to have a life, and don't treat your life as if you're second, because you are important. And people that are in this relationship think that the addict's needs are more important than their own, and their second choice. So in the book you'll learn, you know, what Tammy does to gain her strength back, what she realizes, and you know, how she you know, came back to reality. A lot of people ask me, you know, why did you write this book and put it out there? And it's because I wanted to reach other families, other women, because when I was going through it, this was decades ago. This was 25 years ago I was going through this. But today the problem is still around, and it's not going away. And especially, you know, little small communities, we know up here, there's a problem. There is a major, huge drug problem. And it's the families that just we don't hear from. So that's one of the reasons why I wrote this book. And it was also to understand myself. When I was going through that, I did write journals. When my sister disappeared, I spoke to her in journals. And that's when I started finding that I enjoyed writing, and I wanted to, someday pursue this, as in a work. And when I was going through the ordeals with the addiction relationship, that was my escape, was writing the journals, doing the journals, trying to make sense of everything I was going through. And so I wrote the book to also unravel. Why did I not see this? Why did I not see that? And looking back, it's because I didn't want to. I was total denial. And for me, this was also, I want to say therapy. I'm not going to say closure, because closure was 25 years ago. But for me, it was therapy, just to get it out there, and also to help other people. So that's the reason behind this book. So I have a very passionate bond to it. It's not just a fiction book that I made up in my head. No, this is me. This is what I went through. And I'm not the only person, but I do want other people to know, you're not alone, I am writing a sequel to it right now too. It's called Better Endings. About halfway through that one. And of course the title talks about itself. It's Better Endings. It's life continues on with Tammy Mellows, the main character. Some of the other characters that are in this book are also in the second book. And that moves on to, when I went past this, I became, thank you to Gordon, I became a commercial fisherwoman. All right. So I spent 10 years on the ocean with Gordon, and it's a lot of it's my adventures with him, and what we experienced, and it's a fun book to write. I'm having fun with it. And then I'm also working on a prequel, and the prequel is going to be a novella. It's going to be about, I want to say 50 to 60 pages. It's not going to be a full-size book. But the prequel is basically the journals of Tammy. So you'll kind of get an insight of what she wrote to her sister Donna, what she was going, because they're 14 years old at the beginning of the book. When you learn about Donna's disappearance, there's not a lot a 14-year-old can do. Because she can't go out and look for herself, that's for sure. So the prequel will give you an insight of how she spoke to Donna through her journals. And you'll have to read the book to find out what happened to Donna. And it also will show the insights of my thoughts and frustrations when I was going through the relationship with the addiction with Steve. Steve is the character in the book. So that's pretty much the background of the book. I'm hoping to have Better Endings out, I want to say by the end of next year. So the prequel is going to be out before. I want to get the prequel done and get that out, keep a little something to read before Better Endings comes out. And then once those are through, I have another idea for a series that I want to do. That's way down the line, way down the line. But that's pretty much the outline of the book. So if you have any questions, yes.
Did you bring it out in audio?
I want to do an audio. The Kindle edition is going to be available about 6 weeks. That'll be Kindle, Nook, whatever kind of ebook reader you have. It'll be available on all of those. The audio is still in the works. We have to find, a narrator that's going to do it. I am going to read you an excerpt from the book in a little bit. I just want to see if anyone had any questions before I did that. But the audio, I'm going to say probably within 2 months. But the Kindle will be out about 6 weeks, and that'll be available everywhere too, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. So if you want, I will read you. Yes.
What was the most challenging part about writing a book?
Okay, the most challenging part. This I didn't. Actually, it's a good question. I didn't even realize this would be a challenge when I started writing the book, but I found myself when I was going back to the dark time in my life, that I had to bring the emotions back in order to show it in my writing. And there's parts of the book where I just walked away. Because I had to, everything that I just closed the door on 20 years ago, I moved on with my life. I didn't give it a second thought. Now when I started writing this book, I had to revisit those places in order to get them down on paper And there's a few parts in there where it's like, I just walked away and was bawling because I just had to bring up all this children and BS that I had gone through. So for me, that was really challenging. That was really tough. But in order to, like I said, show it in the writing, you have to feel it. So revisiting that part was pretty tough. That was really tough. So. Any more questions? Ready for an excerpt of the book? Okay. I'm gonna sit down for this one. And I have to wear glasses. Well, the part of the book I'm gonna read you is because I'm be focusing on the addiction part and the, what I call the flip side of addiction, because it is the other side of the addiction, is focusing on